In the summer of 2017, the world was buzzing, waiting with bated breath for a fight that had been talked about for months. It was a spectacle, a dream match that no one thought would actually come to fruition. UFC superstar, Conor McGregor, was stepping into the boxing ring against one of the greatest boxers to ever live, Floyd Mayweather Jr. The fight was billed as the money fight, and it was the most hyped combat sports event of the year. But, unbeknownst to most, there was a major subplot unfolding behind the scenes, involving none other than Paulie Malignaggi, a former two-weight world champion boxer, and a man with a sharp tongue and a reputation as one of the most skilled boxers of his generation. The saga of Conor McGregor vs. Paulie Malignaggi was a drama within a drama, full of bad blood, heated confrontations, and a series of public accusations that only fueled the fire of controversy in the months leading up to McGregor's much-anticipated clash with Mayweather. The build-up, McGregor vs. Mayweather. Before we dive into the intricate details of McGregor and Malignaggi's rivalry, let's take a moment to understand the bigger picture. Conor McGregor had conquered the world of mixed martial arts, holding 2 UFC titles simultaneously, something no fighter had ever achieved before. He was brash, confident, and had built an empire off his charisma and ability to perform under the bright lights. But despite his dominance in the cage, one challenge remained: the world of boxing. When McGregor called out Floyd Mayweather Jr., it was a challenge of the highest order. Mayweather, undefeated in his professional boxing career, was widely considered the greatest defensive boxer of all time. At the time, McGregor's boxing experience was limited to training for MMA, where punches come from every angle, not just the orthodox and southpaw stances that dominate boxing. It was, to many, a lopsided contest, an MMA fighter stepping into the ring against a master of the sweet science. The build-up to the fight was an international spectacle. Press tours, trash talk, and endless promotional material dominated social media and television. McGregor, ever the showman, flaunted his bravado. But in the lead-up to the fight, something happened behind the scenes that would ignite a firestorm. McGregor needed sparring partners, and one of them was Paulie Malignaggi. The arrival of Paulie Malignaggi, known for his slick boxing skills and sharp jab, was no stranger to big fights. After his retirement, he had become a well-respected commentator, his insights and opinions a staple of boxing media. However, when McGregor came calling, Malignaggi saw an opportunity. He could help McGregor prepare for Mayweather, perhaps even become a pivotal part of the McGregor camp. For McGregor, bringing in Malignaggi was an interesting choice. Malignaggi's style was exactly the type of boxer McGregor needed to learn how to handle someone quick, elusive, and able to outbox him with superior technique. Malignaggi entered the McGregor camp with high expectations. He had trained with some of the best and had been in the ring with world-class fighters. He was skeptical of McGregor's ability to transition from MMA to boxing, but he nonetheless agreed to help him prepare. The two sparred for several rounds, but it wasn't long before things started to get complicated. The sparring sessions. The first shots fired during their sparring sessions. Both fighters had their moments. McGregor, with his unique, unorthodox style, presented a challenge for Malignaggi. McGregor's unpredictable angles, power punches, and movement caught Malignaggi off guard at times. According to McGregor's camp, he was having success, even landing some powerful shots that seemed to put Malignaggi on the defensive. But Paulie Malignaggi had a different version of the story. After the sparring sessions, he expressed his frustration publicly. Malignaggi claimed that McGregor's camp had exaggerated the success McGregor had during their sparring sessions. The crux of the controversy began with a leaked image, a photo showing McGregor appearing to have knocked Malignaggi down during a sparring session. The image went viral, and McGregor's fans hailed it as a sign of his growing boxing prowess. Malignaggi, however, was incensed. He went on record saying that McGregor's camp had manipulated the narrative. According to Malignaggi, the photo had been taken out of context, and he had not been knocked down as McGregor's camp claimed. He claimed that the photo was taken from a single, brief moment when he had slipped, not knocked down. The reality, according to Malignaggi, was that McGregor had struggled to land anything of significance during their sparring, and it was the media spin that created a false narrative. The war of words between McGregor and Malignaggi quickly became one of the biggest talking points in combat sports. Every time Malignaggi spoke out, McGregor's camp countered, and vice versa. The two went back and forth on social media, in interviews, and during press conferences. Malignaggi, feeling slighted, demanded that McGregor release the full sparring footage to clear the air, but McGregor was not willing to oblige. Instead, McGregor's camp continued to portray the sparring as a success for McGregor. The situation grew so heated that Malignaggi began to entertain the idea of stepping into the ring with McGregor, not in MMA, but in boxing. The feud had become personal, and Malignaggi was eager to prove that McGregor's boxing was not as polished as McGregor claimed. It wasn't long before Malignaggi started challenging McGregor to a professional fight, throwing out the idea of a potential bout at a later date. The fight night, McGregor vs. Mayweather. By the time August 26, 2017, arrived, the boxing world was set to witness the spectacle that was McGregor vs. Mayweather. The anticipation was immense, and the fight itself lived up to the hype, at least to a certain extent. The first few rounds saw McGregor have moments of success, showcasing his unorthodox approach, landing some solid punches on Mayweather. However, as the rounds progressed, Mayweather's experience and superior boxing ability began to shine through. McGregor, fatigued and outclassed, began to slow down, and Mayweather capitalized on this. In the 10th round, Mayweather's precision and power ultimately overwhelmed McGregor. The referee stepped in and stopped the fight, giving Mayweather the win by TKO. McGregor's boxing debut had come to an end, and while he had shown flashes of brilliance, it was clear that he had a long way to go to compete at the elite level of professional boxing. But the Malignaggi saga didn't end with McGregor's loss. After McGregor's defeat, Malignaggi continued to criticize him, claiming that McGregor's entire boxing campaign had been a joke, and that McGregor was far from the boxer he portrayed himself to be. Meanwhile, McGregor's camp continued to argue that the sparring footage showed McGregor had the upper hand in preparation, regardless of the final result in the Mayweather fight. The aftermath. Where are they now? In the years that followed, both McGregor and Malignaggi's careers continued in their own directions. McGregor went on to pursue a career in both boxing and MMA with varying degrees of success. He suffered a devastating loss to Khabib Nurmagomedov in 2018, and his comeback to boxing was not as lucrative as his first foray into the sport. As for Malignaggi, he remained active in the world of boxing, both as a commentator and an advocate for the sport. He continued to fire shots at McGregor, especially after McGregor's performance in his boxing matches. Malignaggi also got involved in a few high-profile moments of his own, including a controversial stint as a commentator for the Bare Knuckle Boxing League, where he would make his own claims about combat sports and call out fighters he thought weren't holding their own. Conclusion: the rivalry that never fizzled out in the end, the saga of Conor McGregor vs. Malignaggi is one of the most fascinating and controversial storylines in the history of combat sports. It was not just a fight between two athletes. It was a battle of egos, a clash of personalities, and a media circus that would never truly die down. The legacy of McGregor and Malignaggi's animosity lives on as one of the most intriguing subplots in combat sports, adding yet another layer to McGregor's already colorful career. And as the fans look back on the drama, the controversy, and the remarkable spectacle that was McGregor vs. Mayweather, they can't help but wonder, what if Paulie Malignaggi had gotten the chance to fight McGregor in the ring? Would it have been a different story altogether? Maybe, maybe not. But in the world of combat sports, the question will linger, and the saga will never fully fade.